Welcome everybody to Too Legit to Crit, a tabletop role-playing podcast hosted by two guys who would fail a charisma check when talking to themselves.
Yes, that's true. I fail that charisma check all the time.
I fucking hate myself.
The amount of times that I'm talking to myself and then I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Shut up.
Yeah, that happens to me as well. But then I'll go from that to actually what I said was really funny. So it'll be accompanied by a No,
see, I then try and explain myself to myself. I'm crazy.
Well, I am John Santana.
Yeah, I'm still Justin, who's apparently just realised he's actually crazy. So yeah, that's something that you all just witnessed. Yeah.
I'm glad we could reach that realization together.
That was the whole point of this podcast, wasn't it? You just wanted to lead me to the "you're crazy," by the way, realization.
Well, to be honest, but now there's documented proof that I am not a voice inside your head.
Are you though, or is everyone just like this whole podcast is just me talking, and then like silence when you're talking, and then me talking, but everyone else is just playing along with it?
Or is it you talking? And then
me talking again in a different voice. in my voice. Oh God. Oh, see, I don't like this. Let's move on.
But now what I'm going to start doing is making sure I only speak when you're not speaking on the other side. So then you kind of have to accept that possibility.
I don't like this.
Why?
Right. Anyway, moving on. Tables of role-playing games.
So, how have you been? Have you been up to much this week?
Not really. I've been working a lot, and then I had a poorly small, so looking after that. And then more working. So yeah, lots of fun.
Fair enough.
What about you? You played some games, didn't you?
I played some games. I did some gammon. I did some gammon. On Saturday, I did a Pathfinder Society scenario, which was called The Grim Symphony. Really sort of classic horror. Like your classic staples of horror, but especially one sort of direction in particular, which is like the mad scientist sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But there was a bit of Phantom of the Opera in there because it had like a musical theme.
Okay.
It's the only time I've ever ran a table in a room that was a giant theremin. And just seeing the players trying to get that. Like, so you're in this room and there's a low hum. As you move through it, the pitch changes. So the bard goes, do you think I could play a tune? I went, yeah, give me a performance. Rolled pretty well. So yeah, you are able to move around the room, creating what resembles a song. And it was like, they had no fucking clue. that was a load of fun. But then, even better, I had session 1. I was going to say episode 1. I had session 1 of my Kingmaker campaign. And that was just phenomenal. That was a bit of a return to form because it's not as restrictive as Pathfinder Society. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have a time frame that we needed to finish by. And nice. I didn't have to be as draconic with the rules. We could just kind of sit back and just relax and enjoy the game. Mm. Which I do in my home campaigns, but they're always online.
Yeah.
So you do have to have an element of sort of people managing.
Yeah.
Whereas in person, like we've discussed previously, you've got the visual cues for when people are talking. And it was just a really relaxing afternoon. So that is what I've been up to.
Nice. It sounds like fun. I'm jealous.
It was a lot of fun. Still some spaces left for Kingmaker. If you are in the area and you want to play one of the classic Pathfinder adventure paths, then, follow us on Facebook. There's a link for you to sign up. Mm-hmm. And come and join the table because it was
Go roll some dice.
Fun. Yeah, it was a load of fun.
Nice, man. Well, I'm glad everyone enjoyed themselves.
We did indeed.
Did any players die?
They did not. One of them got spanked. Like, big time spanked.
I feel like that's almost like a criteria for your campaigns at this point.
I think my campaigns are easy going until they're not.
Oh, absolutely. Like yours are the kind of campaign where everyone will be like, "Oh, this is really fun." Oh, God.
It was just like, the guy ran in and attacked a giant, and the giant just went bang.
No.
And then he went bang again, and that was a natural 20. Oh. And it was just like, yes, I'm at dying too. Like, yeah.
Walked in and the giant just went, bad adventurer.
It was a really cool encounter though, because they walk in and the giant's already been in fights. So it's
that's pretty cool.
And essentially the book doesn't say this, but it gives off the impression that the giant sort of watches the heroes come in, stands up completely fucking sick of it, and just kind of grunts and like puts his fists up to fight. And it was like, yeah, that was very evocative. I can work with that.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so it was a really good thing. It was a good session. We had a good laugh.
Always good fun. Always good. So, what kind of party dynamic was there? Because that's always a fun conversation.
Well, right now there was only two of them. There was only two. That's why we've got spaces available. But I can run for two people.
Yeah, of course you can.
And one of them is a Magus.
Okay.
But he's a Magus who is he was aspiring to be what's called an Aldori Sword Lord. So very sort of martially inclined. The other one is a rogue who is also aspiring to be an Aldori Sword Lord.
Okay.
All right. So when they were both at the table, it's like, okay, so yeah, my character studied in whatever school of Aldori swordsmanship, and the other one kind of went, yeah, so did I. And it
was
they are polar opposite classes.
Yeah.
Or should I say polar opposite characters.
Mm.
One of them is lawful good, one of them is righteous, the other one is a rogue.
I just love that thing of, and the other one is not.
And because they both had similar backstories, it's like, did you two go to school together? And we kind of spent the first half hour just delving.
That would be funny.
Delving into the backstory of kind of going, right.
One was the little goody two shoes at school, and the other one was the class clown type.
One of them got expelled.
I love it.
So rather than asking the one who got expelled why he got expelled, I asked the other one. I said, what rumors did you hear?
Yeah.
What were the rumors that were going around school? And basically it was like a Ferris Bueller sort of thing.
Bueller?
Yeah. And it was just an absolutely amazing dynamic.
That's awesome.
That the three of us just kind of created in the moment.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It
wasn't planned, and it was, okay, so now you encounter each other, and you've not seen each other since school. What does that look like? And it was really, really good.
Although, what you've just kind of said there has given me a fun idea for a character.
Okay, talk to me.
A lawful good rogue. So when he sees other people pickpocketing, he steals from them and puts it back in the other person's pocket.
I think you could probably swing that with like a Robin Hood-esque.
Yeah, see, the issue with Robin Hood, though, right, is he is literally just stealing from someone to give to someone else. But this is like giving somebody their own stuff back, right?
Yeah.
So how in some places like train stations and stuff like that, they'll have signs like, "Oh, watch out for pickpockets." So this character kind of goes to those sorts of places and watches for the pickpockets, and when he sees them do it, he pickpockets them and then puts it back in the victim's pocket, just to be fun.
Okay, that's fair enough.
And like replaces the coins that you stole with a little note from like
Yeah, I mean that could work. It'd be a hard thing to keep up though.
It would be fun
for an entire campaign.
It would be fun.
You know,
I'd reverse rogue.
To be honest, if I were, because I've never played a rogue, never ever played a rogue, but every time I think of playing a rogue, I cannot escape the Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yes,
sort of thing. I think that would be fucking phenomenal.
God, that would be hilarious. Do you know what I want to do now? Just for funsies.
What's that?
An actual like Men in Tights campaign, like pre-gen characters for all of the main characters, right? So you have like the rogue for Robin Hood, you build out a Chew, and all of the other characters from the films. And like his manservant, the blind guy, I can't remember his name.
Blinken,
that was it. Course it was. Just build out all of those characters and just actually run the campaign. I think it would be hilarious. Or even like just have them as NPCs, right? And like the party are just in the band of merry men.
It's funny when Blinken falls out of the tree and goes, I can see him, runs into a tree and goes, nope, false alarm.
My favorite in that film was isn't always will be the bit where Chewie goes, I just need to pump myself up, and then like bends over and just like pumps the like his trainers. I think I was like, right, I'm ready.
It's what about like when Little John and Robin Hood are fighting and the sticks keep breaking and they end up with like two little batons and they're just twatting each other's fingers. We could do a whole podcast based on that. We could.
It was such a good film.
Yeah,
all of his films were good though. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole like parody subgenre used to be so good until I dare say Date Movie, and then they just went downhill.
Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah. I'm going to be watching a load of that shit.
But yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun though.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think maybe the idea though of the party being just part of the merry men rather than the main characters would be better, because the spotlight then would always kind of be on whichever player has the Robin character sheet.
Yeah, I mean that's normally my problem with like licensed properties. It's like, yeah, you're just going to try build something from the property.
Yeah.
You know, how many people will have played the Alien RPG and okay, I'm going to be Ripley. You know, but speaking of licensed properties.
Oh, nicely done.
Thank you very much. I have been practicing.
Yeah.
My spare time, just looking in the mirror and just
speaking of,
and just coming up with segues. So Palladium have announced that a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Kickstarter is, I don't know whether it's live or it's going live, but we shall figure it out.
October 31st goes live.
And it's kind of funny because not long ago we were talking about cartoons and this just kind of seems like it's falling into our lap.
Yep. This is one that I'm absolutely going to be looking at when the Kickstarter launches at the end of the month. I still am a massive Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. I spent many years dressed as Michelangelo, much to my mother's dismay.
Until late into your 20s.
Oh no, this was last week.
You picked up your daughter and said, "Cowabunga,
dudette." I was huge into TMNT when I was a kid. All credit goes out to my mother for this one, because this was back before DVD box sets were a thing, or even VHS box sets were a thing. Let's be honest. She manually recorded every single episode onto VHS tapes for me.
That's parenting done right.
Yeah, man.
You know. But yeah, it's weird. Michelangelo, though. I mean,
yeah, dude.
It was always about
surfing.
It was always rough for me. It was always
that's because he hates people like you.
I know. He's my kindred spirit.
Yeah. Whereas Mikey's mine. He loves pizza and he likes skateboarding and surfing. He calls everybody dude. Like, how is that not me?
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, knowing me as long as you have now, if you had to assign a Ninja Turtle to me, tell me it wouldn't be Mikey.
I do think you've got elements of Don.
Well, yeah, because I'm a massive nerd, but that goes without saying.
You've got elements of Donatello in there.
See, I mean, I would have given you Raph, no questions asked. Like, just straight up. Like, you hate people, he hates people. There you go.
He's a massive dick.
Oh, but yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna be looking forward to that because, yeah, huge fan of the franchise as a whole. The films back when I was a youngster were amazing. I haven't seen the latest one yet, but I really want to see it. I've heard good things.
That first movie still holds up.
What, the one with Vanilla Ice?
No, that's the second one.
I know, but I just wanted to mention the fact that they had Vanilla Ice in the film.
Well, Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go.
Go Ninja, Go. I love that song. Oh, so
that
good.
one doesn't hold up as much, but the first one
Lies.
still holds up.
They both hold up. I would watch them both today. I still do watch them both today.
I think the Turtles franchise, like, I'm not going to count the third one because that was dog shit. But the third one? Exactly. There was it suffered from the same sort of thing that the Batman franchise suffered from, where they kind of brought the first one out. It was really popular, and then I think it was New Line for the Turtles movie went, oh no, that's way too dark. We need to appeal to a wider audience.
Yeah.
So if you watch the second one, you realise that they barely use their weapons.
Yeah.
Just because, they need to appeal to kids. Whereas the first one was relatively dark.
Yeah, but the appealing to kids thing, like, they use their weapons all the time in the series.
I know, but it was one of these things where, this is what kids are going to...
Yeah, it was somebody in the studio meeting room, someone went, hey guys, what about if they didn't use their weapons?
Yeah, it's like the same thing happened to Batman when they brought out Batman Returns.
Yeah.
It was like, yes, this needs to be a lot more kid-friendly.
Yeah.
And you can just see Tim Burton going, fucking what?
Sorry?
You want rocket-powered penguins? What?
And then later on down the line, we end up with George Clooney with nipples on a bat suit.
Ah, good old Joel Schumacher.
I do love, though, that even George Clooney is like, yeah, that was fucking terrible. Like, at least he has the decency to admit himself that it was fucking shocking.
Was that was the one with Arnie as Mr. Freeze, wasn't it?
Yes.
Where everything he fucking said was a freeze pun.
Yes.
It was just
that is my favorite part of that film.
It was just incredibly fucking shit.
Oh, but the thing is, right? It's so bad that I kind of enjoy it. If you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like the way I watch it to enjoy it is I watch it as a parody of Batman, and then it's fun.
My favourite thing about those movies, and this is my favourite fucking scene, on account of how fucking ridiculous it is I can't remember which one. I think it might be Batman and Robin. Where...
Holy Rusted Metal Batman!
Yeah, that was bad. But before that... It's when Robin is, before he becomes Robin, is hanging up his washing. And he just starts fucking ninjaing the laundry.
Yeah, man. Wait, is that not how you do your laundry?
No, oddly enough, no. Is that how it's meant to be done?
I don't know. This is going to probably polarize a lot of people, but I don't do my own laundry, so...
I think he's like fucking just... At one point, he's like using a shirt as like a pair of fucking nunchucks.
Yeah, like nunchucks. Yeah, he's like doing nunchucks with it, and then he finishes by like kicking it onto the line and shit.
Oh, that is just the best part of that fucking movie.
I kind of want to try doing that now, though.
You need to start doing your own washing first.
Well, no, because I pay other people to do it.
Oh, you one fucking percenter.
It's not that expensive. It's like 20 quid a week, and they come and collect it, they do the washing, and they drop it back to me. It's great.
That sounds expensive to me.
It's all right. But anyway, moving on.
Sorry, just 20 quid a week in 1 month. Do you know how many fucking game systems I can buy?
I mean, I play 5e, so I could buy like one book.
Yeah, and you just have to sell your own bond.
It's true.
You just have to sell your children to win at Wizards of the Coast.
No, it's only if you want to publish stuff. I don't want to publish.
Fair enough.
But speaking of 5th edition.
I was going to say, speaking of Ninja Laundry.
Speaking of ninja, no, we already covered the ninjas. But speaking of 5th edition,
yes.
Have you seen this level up advanced 5th edition starter box on Kickstarter?
I have seen it. I've not really looked into it because, you know, there's a 5 and an E in it.
Well, that's the thing,
and
right?
I struggle with that.
There's part of it that I kind of like that they've done, but there's also parts of it that just piss me off. So the first sentence of their Kickstarter is that it takes your 5e core rulebooks and upgrades them. But then the very next paragraph is them saying that it's a standalone game. But they also say that you will need the 5e core rulebooks because their book is like a supplement to those books. So it's not fucking standalone. If you have to buy the game it's based on to use what they've got, it's not standalone. Like, just by definition, it's not.
Yeah, I get how that's going to trigger you. you and your pedantic ways.
But it's not even pedantic. That's just literally the meaning of the word standalone. Is you could buy if you could buy their books and you didn't need anything else, it's standalone. But the fact that they literally say in here that you have to have the 5e core rulebooks, it's not standalone. It's a supplement.
No, yeah, I completely get you. It's like, for example, Tales of the Valiant, standalone.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't need anything else to play it.
It's fully compatible with original 5e materials.
Yep.
Depth but not complication, with an emphasis on choice. Race separated into heritage and culture.
Yeah, so this is what it says for the rule book. This rulebook takes your existing 5e rules and levels them up, in air quotes. Rather than a pile of replacement hardcover core rulebooks, this 66-page softcover book simply tells you what's new and introduces you to some of the new rules. So basically, these are the new rules, but you still need all of the 5e rules. Great, what are they? Well, you need to go buy the 5e books. Not standalone.
Which we then kind of go back to the problem at hand, where people will admit that 5e isn't great, and they will still continue to want to fucking play it. I have rejoined a particular Facebook group called I'm begging you to play another RPG.
Yeah.
Which is basically a bunch of people like myself bitching about this whole fucking culture of, oh, let's use 5e for this, that, and the other. And yes, it is very, very fucking funny. Some people
and I mean,
are
that's
a bit
the
too
thing,
serious.
right? Like, you know that I am a big 5e fan, right? It's my go-to system of choice. However, if I want to do something that isn't just a standard 5e thing, I will happily go and look for a system that does what I want, rather than trying to make 5e fit. Because that's just not the way you should do it. And if the system doesn't exist, make one.
I mean, a lot of this is people actually posting sort of screenshots from like Twitter or whatever of people going, "Oh, I want to use 5e to play RoboCop or whatever," and just everyone kind of going,
"Just use that."
Just. And there was one that I found very fucking offensive.
Did they want to play Pathfinder stuff in 5e?
No, it was basically Cthulhu horror.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, now on Kickstarter, bring Lovecraftian horror to your 5e campaign. And it was called something like King's Mouth, where they've just basically grabbed a fucking bunch of like Lovecraftian terms and existential horror terms and smashed them together. It's like, is it Innsmouth? No, it's King's Mouth. Is it the King in Yellow? No, it's King's Mouth. It's like, oh, dude, just have a fucking day off. And I've just seen, scrolling through, I've just seen another one now. It's like brand new 5e class, Element Bender. And right next to it, someone's just posted a picture of Avatar Legends.
Yeah.
Ah, God, I hate that system.
As a fan of 5e, I'm going to say this now. Guys, let go. Play other shit. Other shit is good. Try it. You might enjoy yourself.
And this is coming from you, who you've admittedly said that you, up until recently, haven't really played any other systems.
Yeah, and that wasn't through anything other than all of the people that I played with regularly also played 5e. So we never had. I never had somebody saying, "Hey, I've got this new system. Do you want to try it out?" Whereas now, and I think actually this podcast has kind of helped with that, because we've had, like Fabula Ultima that we played. We spoke about it on the podcast. Couch went, "Oh, that sounds awesome." Bought it, ran a game, fucking awesome. We love it. We're going to play it more, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's really helped me with that. And hopefully it's helped some of you listeners out there to find some new stuff as well. Fingers crossed for you. Because, yeah, it's one of those things where, the people that I was playing with, either I was introducing them, so I'm going to introduce them to the system that I'm comfortable with, because it makes the most sense to me, because it's the easiest one to teach them, right? Because I know it inside and out. Same as if you were introducing somebody to role-playing as a whole, you'll probably run them through Pathfinder first.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure I agree with that.
Well, okay. Or
it depends on the person.
Yeah, true.
Because I Pathfinder is a crunchy system, but I can introduce someone to anything.
It's what we got introduced with.
Yeah,
and it's why we're here today.
Introducing a new player to a system is all down to the GM. The GM needs to be able to say, "You tell me what you want to do. I'm going to translate it into mechanics."
Yeah,
and that's it. Doesn't matter what fucking system. That D&D had this whole thing of kind of going, "Oh, it's easy for beginners." It's not. It's just as easy as any other system. It's easier to master, because there isn't as many rules as there are in Pathfinder First Edition, for example.
Oh God, yes, yeah.
But to actually start, to get someone who's never rolled a dice before and sit them at the table, it isn't any easier than any other system at all.
I would disagree there. I would actually say that some of the systems that we've played, I would say are easier than 5e, and that's coming from me. So things like I personally would say that the Fantasy Age systems are easier for new people, because it uses dice they're already familiar with, because it's a 3d6 system. So I personally would say that that's probably the easier way to introduce people, because it still uses all of the same concepts of like ability checks and modifiers and all this sort of thing, but it's done with dice they're already familiar with, so they're not having to learn the dice as well. Because that's the one for me that I found that a lot of people, when they first come into the hobby, especially with a D20 system, is trying to remember what dice they have to roll every time can be a sticking point for a lot of people.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You're getting people to remember these things, where it's just a case of, it's like a kid when they learn to ride a bike, they've got stabilizers on. It's the exact same
absolutely.
fucking thing.
But so, that's what I'm saying. All I'm saying there is I think Fantasy Age, just because it removes that one element, but still keeps all of the other elements, I would argue that it's probably a little bit easier to pick up, because there's one less element to learn, if that makes sense.
No, I'm of the belief that no system is going to be easier than any other, especially if you're dealing with rule books that are at least 150 pages long.
Yeah.
Because everything has their own sort of idiosyncrasies. They've got their own sort of little differences and little things that you have to remember. I think learning a system is all based on the person teaching you.
Yeah. I want to run you through a Fantasy Age game, because I think you'd actually really enjoy it. It's a really cool, the way they handle stuff is just really cool.
Yeah, I'll play it.
So yeah.
But we could add it to the list then.
I think, did we already?
I don't know if you did or not.
Oh yeah, it is Fantasy Age 2nd edition, because that was coming out.
Cool. All right.
It's already on the list. I need to get 2nd edition.
So have you finished your grievance against Advanced 5th edition? Do you want to
Sure.
take another couple of digs? Go on.
Sure. No, I think that's it. It's just like, for me, it bugs me that they're trying to like set it apart as this like separate thing, but they're literally standing on the shoulders of 5e and saying, we're not 5e, but you need the 5e books. What? That just bugs me. It's like, no. Just no.
No, that's fair. Look, you don't need me to help you bash 5e.
We're not bashing 5e. We're bashing something that's trying to bash 5e and failing at it. Like, how bad have you got? Like, okay, 5e is very bashable as a system, especially after all the recent, bullshit. How do you fuck up bashing it? That's what I don't understand.
I don't know. It seems to me pretty easy to me. I don't know. It's the easiest thing in the world.
Exactly. And they fucked it up.
So, speaking of 5e, what about this A Life Well Lived by Cubicle 7?
Oh, yeah, that looks pretty good, actually. So that, it's like a backgrounds book, right? So, backgrounds is a little bit like a life story book for character creation, which I think is pretty cool. Because it's something that I struggle with a lot, is like coming up with stuff that happened in my character's past life and things like that, right?
Yeah.
But it also handles stuff like beyond. So like after you've retired the character, there's also stuff for that as well, which is kind of cool. So it could work for GMs to like come up with some ideas to run past a character that, if a player wants to retire a character and you still want to, they've been in the campaign for a long time and you want to give them that send-off story, it gives you a couple of maybe prompts and stuff that you could go through with the player and see if they would be happy with it and use them and stuff like that, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I remember when we first started playing Pathfinder, one, like a player that like who's been playing a lot longer than us, he brought in an actual book that essentially did this. And I think it was an old 3.5 book.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily Pathfinder, and that was a big fucking tome as well. And again, it'd be like, okay, so roll for this, roll for any events, roll for your childhood, roll for this, roll. And then Pathfinder sort of integrated it as well. And I always kind of used it as a launch pad.
Yeah.
So I'd kind of roll a few things and just kind of go, okay, I can write around this and kind of create something. But yeah, it is actually good. And it is for Cubicle 7. They also did that Uncharted Journeys that we were looking at. Yeah. Which kind of, makes the travel between adventures a bit more interesting. So I think I do like that Cubicle 7 are kind of leaning on the other aspects of the game.
It also seems to give a few things something we spoke about recently as well. So, in the new playtest document I mentioned about the Bastions.
Okay, yeah.
For new D&D. So there's similar sort of things in here for like a place to call home. So it's going to have a complete system for creating a home base for you and your party, adding rooms, downtime activities, stuff like that, hiring allies. So they've basically built all that into this book as well. Things like new campcraft activities, so stuff to do while you're resting by the campfire, and a bunch of downtime activities, new contacts, allies and rivals, so a bunch of NPCs and stuff like that as well. So it's going to be adding, I think it's going to be a really, really helpful tool for players and for DMs.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be quite useful. I don't think it's anything that I'm going to be, because it's obviously 5e, but even if it was for Pathfinder, I don't think it's anything that I'd bother getting, but I can see it. I can see the appeal, basically.
It's pretty reasonably priced as well. For about 30 quid, you get the hardcover and PDF copy.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad at all. So I will probably take another look at that at some point in the very near future.
So, speaking of like value for money, we did see a couple of things that are in bundles.
Yes.
This week, one of them I'm quite excited about, and it is moistening my wallet.
Can't imagine which one that is.
No, you can't. Probably this 5e one.
Yeah, it's definitely the 5e one.
Yeah,
Absolutely
100%.
Yep.
But I'm just waiting for this actual fucking page to load. Okay.
It's the Broken Mind 5e, right? It's that one, yeah. I thought so.
So they're calling it the Bike Club bundle for vet and ER bills. So apparently somebody, I think, quite known in the industry.
Yep.
He and his dog were attacked in a random dog attack.
Yeah.
And they're trying to kind of get some extra money towards going towards like hospital and vet bills.
Yes.
Bills, sorry. And they have put together this bundle. Well, there's Arogo's Tomb 5e. Looks like an adventure. Belmy, another adventure. Broken Mine.
Dragon Hunt.
Dragon Hunt. You got a free encounter collection.
Yeah, a couple of those. Jesus Christ, more than a couple. Lots of encounters.
You've got like a whole fuck ton of adventures.
Whole adventure path here. Look, R1, Road to Rel. Jesus, I can't speak. Then you've got R2, the Town of Rel, R3, R4, R5. So I'm guessing those
R7.
all kind of
check out R7. Looks really fucking interesting.
That looks good.
Cirque du Necro.
Yeah.
Seventh adventure in the R series, taking place after R6 House of Heroes, can be run as a standalone adventure. Even in this adventure, the PCs are under the big top. Will they free the circus from its curse, or end up as just another bunch of clowns under the big top? Ooh, that sounds something I can fucking work with.
Yeah. Levels 5 to 10.
So the value of this is $32.80, and it's going on sale for $11.14.
Definitely worth grabbing if you ever need more books in your library, guys.
Yeah, even if it's 5e, I don't think it's going to take a lot to convert.
No, I mean, especially things like those free encounters, right? That alone would be great to have, just a bunch of encounters in your pocket.
That's the shit I won't be using because there's no point. But like the stories, the adventures, I could use them.
Yeah. So things like the whole R series.
So that is a very good value. Very good value indeed. The other one that I saw that I'm just, again, loading.
You'll also be pleased to know, just while you're loading that R1, the R series, it comes with everything you need for a VTT as well. So it comes with all the maps, everything like that, as a separate zip file.
Okay, this is definitely kind of
So that's pretty good. History, background, investigation guide, new monsters, 5 encounters, color maps, and NPC stats. So yeah, it would be very easy for you to convert.
Yeah, that is pretty good. I'm intrigued, to say the least.
Yeah.
This is one that is, it's not the reason behind it. It sucks, to be honest, but it is for a good cause. But the veteran TTRPG blogger, developer, publisher, and writer Owen Casey Stevens was hospitalized for nearly a week with pulmonary embolism in February 2023. While still recovering from that ailment, he was diagnosed with cancer. He's been on chemo for months now, and it looks like he has months more chemo ahead of him. Though he has every intention of overcoming this challenge and producing game material for years to come, and despite having medical insurance, the medical bills have continued to pile up. The open RPG games industry has come together to create a mega bundle to help, with all proceeds going to help Owen with those bills. So the multi-publisher mega bundle includes more than 350 separate products with a combined value of over $1,000. For Mutants and Masterminds, 5th edition, Pathfinder 1st, Pathfinder 2nd, Starjammer, Starfinder, and many others. Other than Everybody Games and Rogue Genius, over a dozen other popular and current publishers for multiple game systems, including 2 Games, Little Feat, Battle Press, International, D20 PFSRD, Publishing, Drop Dead Studios, Evil Robot Games, John Brazer Enterprises, Legendary Games, Legendsmiths, Names Games, Samurai Sheepdog, Right Publishing, Savage Mojo, Storm Bunny Studios, and Wayward Rogue Publishing. this is a fucking good cause. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not even looking at what's on.
I'm
What's in
having
it?
a quick scroll through, and there's some really awesome stuff in here as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be tempted just to get it because of the
Yeah, just for the cause. Yeah.
just for the cause, you know. So yeah, you know. We wish Owen Casey Stevens a very speedy recovery. Got, you know, all the best, and to be fair, I will probably be investing in that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely a worthwhile cause. So yeah,
You know, that is a lot of fucking product.
it is.
All right, and the other one that we found that, yeah, this is, you know, interesting to me.
Yeah.
And to be honest to you, because we have discussed one of these.
We have.
Vampire the Masquerade.
Yes.
Month of Darkness book bundle. So on Humble Bundle, there is a 24 item bundle, which includes physical copies, but they're not available in our part of the world because shipping sucks.
Yeah.
However, for us, there is for $14.67 you get 20 items, including Vampire the Masquerade and also Hunter the Reckoning, which we've kind of gone, yeah.
I think that is on our list, right?
That is on our list. So I'm just kind of working out like 14 quid plus the $39 from the other one. All right, I can do that on payday.
Yeah, no, that does look good. I mean, we have spoken about that a lot, and yeah, I think it would be a lot of fun to get into the vampire world.
Yeah, I think it's one of these that a lot of times I will knock because of it's got a bit of a predatory nature to it.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's like I kind of really want to play it a tiny bit.
Yeah,
I mean, for the most part, a lot of what interests me is the whole focus on the sort of clans, you know, and the sort of world that's been created more than, you know, I want to be a vampire and suck blood and all that crap. It's more about the sort of world that's been created.
The social elements of it as well, and like how it all interacts. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
I think one of the best comments I saw regarding Vampire the Masquerade was, if I want to pretend to be a sexual predator, I'll play FIFA.
Oh, wow.
It's not wrong, though.
Well, it is, because it's not called FIFA anymore. They lost the license.
What?
EA no longer have the license. Yeah, it's not called FIFA anymore.
Is that why there's an advert saying FC?
Yeah, EAFC. Yeah, they lost the license with FIFA, so it's not a licensed product anymore. Yeah. This year was the first year where they didn't have the FIFA license. They lost it.
Fuck, okay. That explains.
Yeah,
because I've been seeing the advertisement for it was FC 2025.
Everyone still calls it FIFA.
Yeah, it's always going to be called FIFA.
Yeah, but yeah, it's no longer licensed. It's not a licensed product anymore.
So do they have to do what Pro Evolution did and just have to come up with
like Manchester
fake
Red,
names?
Manchester Blue, stuff like that? Yeah,
that's amazing. That is the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, even the player names, because FIFA owns the rights to those as well.
Like there was like in Pro Evo, there was like Robaldo and stuff like that.
Yeah. So yeah, they're gonna have they've had to start doing stuff like that, which is hilarious.
That's fantastic. It just makes me laugh. So yeah, Vampire the Masquerade Humble Bundle out now. It's got 19 days left on it, which does carry me over payday. Almost.
Now the real question, right? In the Hunter book. Is the primary way for the hunters to kill the vampires with like wooden stake to the heart?
I don't know. I haven't got the book yet.
It's got to be there, right? That's like vampire killing 101.
Apparently, yeah.
Wooden stake to the heart.
Right.
Now the question is, where do they get all that wood? I'll tell you where. The 100-acre wood.
Okay, I'm pissed off for two reasons.
Because you didn't see that one coming and it was amazing.
Because you made a big thing before we started recording.
I didn't want to talk about this one.
Not covering this fucking story. I'm not fucking talking about this. I'm not talking about this. I'm not talking about this. All of a sudden,
no, I decided I wanted to talk about it for one reason and one reason alone.
That segue?
No. I mean, that was part of it, but no. The stats they've given for Pooh. Now, I mentioned this before we started recording, but I've been stewing this whole time.
Yes,
because
you did.
Bullshit.
Yes, you did, and I'm even more pissed off because I came out with a brilliant fucking joke while we were discussing it that's not going to be able to be repeated.
Well, that's a shame. But right, my issue with these
Justin
stats
said Pooh gets stuck in everywhere, and I went, you get Pooh stuck everywhere. It was a brilliant fucking joke.
It was an off-the-cuff joke, and it was amazing, and you can't really, it was like lightning on the bottle, you can't capture it again.
No.
However, the issue I have, right, and that statement stands. Pooh Bear, as a character, literally 99% of every Winnie the Pooh episode is him getting stuck in something and Piglet has to rescue him, right? That is the premise for like 99% of Winnie the Pooh. Pooh got his hand stuck in the tree, or he got stuck in the tree, or like all that shit, right? But yet they give him a wisdom and intelligence score of average or above and a dexterity score of +1. Fuck off. He's a moron that gets stuck in everything. I'm not having it.
I just want to kind of point out the sort of deep-seated hatred that you've got for Winnie the Pooh right now.
Yeah.
It's like, can you show me where Winnie the Pooh touched you?
I can, conveniently on the dolls that they've got a photo of underneath on that Kickstarter.
It's just a doll of Eeyore with a shocked face.
Poor Eeyore. Eeyore was my boy. I love Eeyore. And they were so mean to him all the time.
Tigger was always my favourite.
Tigger was awesome, but he had too much energy for me.
Tigger's
the kind of person, right? From our nightclub working days, Tigger is the person that if we saw them walk in, we'd be like, oh, fuck this guy. Or we think he's on something.
Yeah, do you know, because I was actually going to mention that, do you know how there's the whole thing of, like, every character in Winnie the Pooh is based on a medical condition, is based on a sort of mental ailment, but there's also the one that says that every character in Winnie the Pooh is based on the drug they take.
Yes.
And it's like, Tigger, fucking speed.
Or cocaine, either or. I'm down with that. I believe it. Absolutely believe it. But yeah, I just wanted to go through that because that's some bullshit. He's got an animal handling of +3. Fuck off.
I don't know. Do you think he handles Piglet?
He must do. It's the only reason Piglet would stick around.
Yeah, fair enough.
An athletics score of +5. Dude literally gets a sleight of hand score of +1. No. No. Whoever wrote this has clearly never seen the show or read any of the books or anything because no.
But do you think it might be main character syndrome?
Oh, it absolutely is.
They've kind of gone, okay, so the thing's named after Winnie the Pooh.
It absolutely is. And that's what
we have to make him above average.
Yeah, and just no. And that's also the only character sheet they've got, so I can't even see whether they've done Piglet dirty or anything.
Was it on Backer Kit now?
Yeah, it is.
When's it released?
There's 4 days left.
How much is it? Because I'm tempted just to buy it.
The cheapest backer they've got, well, I mean, it's already hit. It's smashed its goal somehow. Fuming.
It's a 10-page. Oh, right, that's the adventure. Is a 10-page.
Yeah, the one shot adventure PDF is $4. They've got them in space with Spelljammer versions for $9. That's hilarious. But it's just a one shot, basically based in 5th ed. So you wouldn't play it anyway because it's 5e.
Piglet D&D one shot in the 100 $4. I'm actually tempted just to buy it, just to see the character sheet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, actually, you know what? I think we should, because I need to see if they did Piglet dirty. Piglet's awesome, and I reckon they've done Eeyore proper dirty. They're gonna give him -7 on everything.
I mean, yeah.
But he's insanely good at everything. He's just not happy. But yeah, no. I'm having a rant day today.
I'm enjoying this side of you, Justin.
I'm not.
I'm enjoying it because that gives me the ability to just add salt in the wounds. And
I just don't understand how, if they've ever seen anything Winnie the Pooh related, they could give him those scores. The strength score, fine, I get it, right? He's a bear, he's strong, I get it. But like, for how regularly he gets stuck in shit and is clueless about things, how can you give him an average intelligence score, an average wisdom score, and a fucking positive dexterity score? Just no.
I just want to know how many like listeners of ours are massive Disney fans, and they are just.
I'm a massive Disney fan,
and they're just like never listening to us ever again.
No, but that's the thing. I'm a massive Disney fan. I'm a massive Disney fan, and that's why I'm so pissed off, because they fucked it up. I'm fuming.
Oh,
I don't drink, hilarious. But I'm tempted to after this.
Oh, I think this is funny as fuck. Are you okay?
No.
No?
No, I'm fine. Let's move on.
Well, I mean, I do kind of have to agree that they even got like the basic sort of things kind of wrong. But you know what else is basic?
Wow.
Come on, that's how it's done, motherfucker.
My Starbucks order.
Boom.
It's
you
not
and your
because
flat white.
I don't order from Starbucks because I don't drink coffee.
I do, but I still don't order from Starbucks. I like good coffee. Fucking, I had a proper old man moment on Saturday.
Oh, God.
I went to because we're at Wayland, they've got the bar area and this, that, and the other. I walked in, set myself up for GMing, and then went to get a coffee. Mm-hmm. And I went, you know what? Give me a latte, and I want, you know, what flavors have you got? And don't tell me that pumpkin spice bullshit. And the guy just went, okay.
I mean, you know.
It was a proper, I'm an old man and I'm going to fucking flaunt it.
Oh my God.
But yeah, basic role-playing.
Yes.
Universal Game Engine is now in, I think it says now in print, but I've just gone to the website and says it's out of stock. So I think they must have probably sold out. But this is one that came across on a Humble Bundle ages ago, and I didn't bother getting it. And I regret that.
Yeah.
Because it is essentially the engine that powers stuff like Call of Cthulhu, Streets of London, RuneQuest.
Yeah.
And
it does seem a very you thing to have.
Yeah, and because I'm wanting a universal system, which I'm currently kind of earmarking Cypher because it is fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. At the same time, I'm now looking at this kind of going, well, now I've got decisions to make.
Options.
Just like you can, like, Delta Green is a crisp fucking system. And it is tangentially based on this.
Yeah.
But you can imagine using Delta Green in other scenarios.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It is a very sort of, it does feel like a slice of life sort of
very
thing.
Flexible, yeah.
Yeah, so I think this may be a purchase at some point.
Yeah, man, sounds good.
Maybe the next time I go to London, I'll pop in and
have a little look, yeah.
See if they've got it, because it does look really good.
Mm. Oh, it does.
Yeah, I've definitely got my eye on it.
Oh, it's all determined by the roll of a D100.
Yeah, so essentially...
Interesting.
And it's not... They aren't flexible DCs either.
Yeah.
So you, like in Delta Green, you've got a skill.
Yeah.
And the skill is 60%. You roll your D100, you have to get lower than that.
Yes.
If you do, you succeed. If you don't, you fail. End of. So there's none of this, this is the DC. The only thing that you can do as the keeper or the GM or the handler, whatever you want to call it, is increase or decrease that target.
Yeah.
So plus 20 or minus 20.
Yeah, because I mean, like that's the thing, right? If like let's say you have the skill to pick a lock, but you're now looking at a lock that you've never seen before, you're not just going to be able to like that, right? So you would maybe knock 10 off of their skill in air quotes. I don't know why I'm putting in air quotes. That is what you're doing. So then if they have a 60, they have to roll. It then becomes a 50, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, and it is a cool system. God, it's making me want to run Delta Green.
Let's do it. I'm down for some Delta Green.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's set something up.
Yeah, man.
Sometime next week. I'm thinking I'm going to be free.
Yeah. I'll have a small human, but yeah.
And we shall get others involved.
We shall
put out the fabulous Ultima bat signal.
Yeah. I think everybody needs to keep their eyes on their phone everywhere they are.
Yeah, I'm keeping my eye on a lot of things.
Are you keeping your eye of everywhere?
Everywhere. Every single place I can. That was a bit of an alley-oop.
It was.
That was an assist.
Yeah, it was good.
So yeah, this is one that I kind of saw.
Yes.
With my eye. So it is the Eye
I'm sorry,
of
everybody. I'm sorry.
The Eye of Everywhere, which is a gaming supplement for Pathfinder 2nd Edition and 5e.
Woo!
So the setting for both Pathfinder 2nd Edition and 5th Edition lets you add some sci-fi spice to your games and explore worlds outside traditional fantasy. And it is created by Alan Tucker. And it does, I don't know what to think.
Well,
to be honest.
I'm just reading some of it, and there's two of the new ancestry/species that they're introducing, which, because of the Spelljammer books, already exist in 5e, kind of. But one of them looks cool, which is the Hawk. Tiny creatures who must inhabit other bodies to survive.
Okay.
So it's a bit like the Goa'uld from Stargate.
Yeah,
like that kind of thing. Yeah, little snaky things.
Or the brain absorbers.
Yeah. So that could be quite interesting to play as, because like I don't even know how that would work, like mechanically, because essentially the body that you're in isn't you. So would you be able to like hop from one body to another, or like once you bond with the body, is that like it? That's your body for life now.
It is interesting.
That would be quite interesting to me.
But the world, the Eye itself is a giant multiverse spanning portal. It's surrounded by a thin disc, which on both sides supports a thriving city composed of an eclectic mix of architecture from hundreds of worlds, including countless cultures. So it does kind of sound like you can like bring in or touch on this with your kind of current campaigns. That's kind of, when I first read about it, that's what I first understood.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the Eye sort of being a sort of metaverse, as it were, sort of kind of controlling like all your game universes.
And I do like that they've also got a GM's guide and a player's guide as well. So you're not both looking from the same book. So there's no chance of that cross-pollination of, at least on the first playthrough, right? There's no cross-pollination of knowledge of like, oh, well, I happen to know what this is because I read that page by mistake. Stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And also separate books for 5e and Pathfinder. So if you play both systems, unfortunately, you're going to have to double buy. Or just, get the calculator out to do some converting. But yeah, separate books. So I could buy a 5e one and you could buy a Pathfinder one, and we wouldn't have to see the other one's system.
Yeah, and there's some quite decent names attached to this as well. So Alan Tucker is the author of a number of fantasy and science fiction novels, as well as numerous adventures and other supplements found on the DM's Guild, Pathfinder Infinite, and Drive-Thru RPG. Then you've got Sen HHS, is a Taiwanese tabletop role-playing game freelancer and a Diana Jones emerging designer program winner. She is one of the cover authors of Pathfinder Rage of Elements, which is a fucking beautiful cover.
I'm not going to lie. All of the cover art that they've got on the Kickstarter is the finalized cover art, and it looks insane.
It does. It looks really fucking good. To be fair, what are the pledges? What are the levels?
That's pretty cool. So for $100, they'll make you an NPC in the system.
Oh, fuck. Really?
There's only 10 available. I don't know if that's all gone, but yeah. I'm sure it is.
It's $29 for the PDFs of the player and the GM combo.
$109 would get you the 5e and Pathfinder combo of hardcover and PDFs.
Yeah, I think that's US only, though. Oh, no, shipping extra.
Yeah.
They're coming from the US. I ain't paying that.
It's Amazon shipping.
Is it?
Yeah. They've said that they're using Amazon, which is why they can't do Switzerland, because Amazon's currently not shipping to Switzerland for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they'll be using Amazon to ship it.
I'm not paying the fucking $100, though.
Well, you don't. I'm not split with you. So pay half each. I get the 5e ones, you get the Pathfinder ones.
Ah, you see, you're twisting my arm.
But anyway, do you know what I feel like we need after all of this ranting and raving we've done this week?
We need to chill out on the couch, don't you?
I think we need to go take a seat on the couch, man. Yeah.
All right, let's go take a seat on the couch.
Let's. Oh.
All right. You actually fucking pretended to sit down?
No, I was just stretching. I was just stretching. I
thought you were really getting into the bit. I thought you were just kind of...
I'm flexing my role-playing muscles, okay?
I'm just going to move around on my chair so it's like, sounds like creaking. Well.
There we go.
Get
all comfy.
Cup of tea.
Get my duvet. So I've actually received a couple of questions.
Have you? I've only received the one. People don't love me as much this week.
I win.
You do win. I am forever humbled.
No, you're not. That's a lie.
Oh my fuck. All right, so do you want to do you, me, you then?
Yeah, let's do that. So the first question I got was from Sci-Fi, who's in the deep, dark woods of Belfairs.
That's a fucking scary place.
It is terrifying. Another homebrew question. What do you think are essential locations for a new campaign?
Oof. I'm assuming he's talking about more generic locations.
Yeah, I would say so. It's stuff that like is absolutely essential in pretty much every campaign, right? So, just because I'm like, for example, I'm doing a pirate campaign, so an essential thing for me is the ship, but that's not going to be essential for every campaign.
Well, obviously, I think a starting city.
Yeah, starting town, starting city, something like
that. And then
that starting tavern that we start every adventure in.
There was actually, just kind of skipping back to the sort of news section. I don't know if I added it this week, but I did see something about somebody publishing a book of adventure starting locations. And it's called something like "You Do Not Meet in a Tavern." It's actually quite interesting. But anyway, back to the point at hand. So yeah, I do think a starting location. Now, how much you spend on that location and how much you invest in creating that location, that's going to differ. If you're only there for, this is your quest and it's in the mountains, then there's no fucking point.
Yeah.
But if it's a case of, this is like there's a bit of political intrigue, there is, you are building something within this city, then flesh it out as much as possible. So that's one. You obviously said about the ship in like a specific type of campaign.
Yeah, I think the real thing that would be essential would be just anything that is necessary for the story. Yeah,
definitely.
It's going to differ, obviously, because not all campaigns are the same. Because there's so many different ways that you can go with a campaign, because you could do just an entirely political intrigue campaign. So the entire thing takes place in that one city.
Yeah.
It's possible. I personally probably wouldn't enjoy that campaign, but other people definitely would. So yeah, it's tricky.
This is kind of giving me an idea. This is actually, yeah. So, how about this? A campaign, right? Where
fade in.
The main, yeah, okay, fade in. Fade in. You and your companions find yourselves in a room. It is entirely empty. There's no furniture. There's no windows. The floor, the ceiling, and the walls all look the same. The only thing there is a door. When you go through that door, you're in another realm.
Yep.
You're in a dungeon, for example. You're on a pirate ship. And you're only able to be in through that door for a certain amount of time before you get punted back to the room.
Do you know what you've just described with an intermediary?
What's that?
The TV show Quantum Leap. That's Quantum Leap, but with a room in the middle. Because he just jumps from body to body in time, doesn't he?
He does, but yeah, I want to do the time travel elements of it.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
No, but it would be a similar sort of thing.
But yeah, I quite like that. That'd be cool. I'd play that.
So your main location from the entire campaign
is just a room.
Is a single room.
Yeah, I like.
You don't have to, and then you go through a door. And the thing is, you don't have to stick it to one trope either. You don't have to keep to one.
It would be a good way to like test out a lot of one shots as well, doing it that way, because you would essentially step out of that door into a one shot.
You basically make your character, like for example, this basic role playing thing. You basically make your character, right? Yeah. So you give him skills like aiming as opposed to firearms.
Yeah.
So that when you do kind of go into, now you're in a cyberpunk city. Now you're on a spaceship in the far regions of the galaxy.
Yeah.
You can effectively use your same characters.
Yeah, just to translate the stuff across. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I'd be down to play that.
Okay. I think I may have sci-fi. I think you may have started me on the path of a new campaign.
Yeah, put a new campaign together. I think for me, it would be the starting location is obviously the most essential because you need somewhere to start. I also like to plan out where the final confrontation is going to take place. So I would say you need the final location. Everything in the middle, though, it's going to be down to the plot points. You're going to create locations for those story beats and those plot points. So I would say those are the only two really essential ones: is starting location and ending location.
Yeah, I agree.
Everything else is flexible.
Yeah, I mean, if there is a location that the party adopts that's different to the starting location, then obviously that wouldn't be
for just on that wouldn't be for a new campaign because he specifically said for a new campaign.
Fair play, but
so that would be something that you develop whilst you're in the campaign.
Oh, don't know. I disagree. I mean, because like for example, Skulls and Shackles, you never got that far, but you start on the ship.
Yep.
But you do get to a point where it's this is where we're staying now. This is our base. So
I see.
So when you start the campaign, you start in one location.
And then
part of the adventure is moving to a secondary location and then building from there. So I suppose like a base location would be important.
Like a home location, so or like a bastion, if you will. Love it. Brilliant. Anyway, I hope that answers your question, Sci-Fi.
All right, so the question I got is from the man, the myth, the legend himself.
Oh, lovely.
Couch.
What's he got for us today?
And Couch has made it to the bathroom section, but he's still lost in IKEA.
Oh, it's depressing because it's probably true. I haven't seen him for a while.
So his question is, you have spoken about worlds continue to turn in your games while characters are messing about, etc. Would you continue to run the world in the background of the game away from the party's antics and people involved in the story? For example, would other nations and big events still happen whilst the main bulk of your story is still going on?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily something I would track, but maybe I would come up with a system of like randomizing it.
Yeah, just every once in a while, like, are those two nations still friends? Yes or no? Flip a coin, roll a dice, whatever, right?
Yeah, you roll a dice and, oh no, there's a war broken out.
Bit of tension now, yeah.
Yeah, and you just kind of keep that. And if it comes to the forefront, it comes to the forefront. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But it's something that you just kind of keep in mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100%. I think the world should revolve. The world should carry on regardless of player choice.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, right? I think it's important to remember that whilst, yes, we are playing a game, right? It's for having fun, etc., etc. Like, to add an element of realism to it, things just happen around us in the real world, right? Like, whatever we're doing, and, you know, we're sitting here now recording this podcast, but you guys listening, whilst we were recording this, were doing your own thing. That was all happening. The world didn't freeze because we were doing something. And I think that's important to remember.
Yeah, and also bringing in elements of the world that have got nothing to do with the story as well.
Yeah.
Because not everything revolves around the players, or the player characters, should I say. So if they are in a city and all of a sudden an army attacks, it doesn't necessarily have to be anything related to the players. It could just be those two nations are at war.
Yeah, I mean, we had something similar to that happen in a campaign that I was playing in once. We got to this town, and while we were there, they'd basically been at war with these it was like a little like farming village, and there was a massive group of bandits that we had been offered a contract to go and deal with. We didn't, because we thought the money wasn't good enough. And when we came back a couple of months later to the same town, we got there and it just happened to be the day before the bandits attacked. And obviously, if we'd dealt with the bandits when we first went there, it wouldn't have been a thing that happened later, because what had happened is while we were off doing our own thing, that friction between the town and the bandits had been continuing to grow, and it led to that big attack. So yeah, it can also lead to really, really cool moments.
Yeah, and then obviously you've got the player choice of going, do we deal with this?
Or do we just fuck off?
Do we just carry on what we're meant to be doing?
Or we do what I like to call the Scots player solution of just closing the door and walking away.
Yeah, because that is always an option.
Yeah, it's always an option.
So yeah, 100%.
Yep.
The world keeps turning, and events happen, and some things are out of the player's control.
Yeah, and you know, and as well, it might seem like you're doing all the stuff and the players are never going to know about it, but it doesn't matter, because it could become relevant.
It could.
It's better to have it semi kind of roughed out, rather than having to go, oh fuck, because they happen to somehow get an audience with the king, right? It happens.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times when I like build a city or something, I will, you do a bit of history of the city, you do a bit of the history, bit of the city, how it is nowadays. Yeah. But I also like to kind of go, where is the city heading?
Mm-hmm. I also like to maybe throw in like some festivals through like with specific dates throughout the year, and if they happen to be in that town, like if it's like a town that they're going to go to a lot, I'll do this. I won't do it for every town, obviously. But if it's a town that's like central to the storyline, I'll plan out like what their holidays and stuff like that are. And if they happen to come back to town during one of those holiday periods, there's going to be a big parade and feast and all this sort of thing as well.
Yeah, if you kind of create a ever evolving world, again, it's not something you have to track, but if you just got an idea. So let's say there is a country, there is a king, the king is a bit corrupt, blah blah blah. You set it up and just kind of go, right, sometime in the future this king is getting deposed. And a civil war is going to break out. Now, if the players, for one reason or another, figure out something's amiss, etc., and end up deposing the king, then that changes. There is no longer going to be a civil war. But it is always good to kind of have an idea of where things are going. Just if it's something that the players kind of ignore, if it's something that, even if it's not a plot hook per se, and they kind of go, oh, we want to pop back to this village and check in, and just kind of go, well, you find the village burned down.
What village?
Say, was there anything we could have done? No. There was no way you knew. There was no way you had any clue.
Wandering Taras came through and flattened the village.
Nothing
you could have done.
It's a dangerous world.
So yeah.
I
think that answers that.
I do believe so.
Cool.
So,
I have a second question from Mr. Sci-Fi.
Mr. Sci-Fi.
Who is at the hunting lodge in the deep dark woods. So he's made it through the deep dark woods and he's got to the hunting lodge. So
okay.
As a GM, how much leeway do you give players that are trying to roleplay a character that they are not like? For example, a charismatic, fast-talking, flattery, and silver-tongued rogue, if that's not who they are as a person. There was a couple of extra bits to this of, yes, I'm playing a rogue in the Kingmaker campaign, which is why I was asking about the party composition. So he's well aware that this is a loaded question.
I give all the leeway that's needed.
It's true. He absolutely does. I cannot fault him for that.
I will sit back and I will help if I see that there is a struggle, because at the end of the day, it's role play. You are playing a role. You don't have to play yourself.
Yeah, and I think it's something that a lot of newer GMs maybe struggle with is, for me anyway, the one that I always used to really struggle with is if a player is, and I'm not trying to sound like a dick when I say this, but they might not be the most intelligent player at the table, right? And they happen to be playing a character with really high intelligence rolls, like stats. I will, rather than just announcing things to the table, what I'll do is I'll give them the information individually that they figured out in character, right? Whether it's through like a message or a sheet, like a slip of paper or something like that, because then it lets them have that moment of, aha, I figured it out, because they've read it off the piece of paper, right? But in character, they figured it out. Because there are some people who are, they're playing a very intelligent character, but they just can't figure out the puzzle because they can't figure out the puzzle. And that's the player getting in the way of what the character would feasibly be able to do, for example. So I'll maybe give them extra hints or something like that in a private chat or something like that.
I mean, a lot of this and a lot of this expectation on players does come from the whole Matt Mercer effect.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
When people have seen too much fucking Critical Role.
Yeah.
And they think that every table has to be like that. Look, these guys are professional trained actors.
Yeah.
They can inhabit any role that they want at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
The people at my table are not. Yeah. So what I will do is I will prompt and I will say, okay, what I want you to do is I want you to roll the dice. Okay? Let's say, for example, diplomacy.
Yeah.
I want you to roll the dice. Then I want you to try and roleplay the result.
Yeah.
If it's a good result, try more. But even if the response to that is, oh, well, I would be very charming, I would be very charismatic, then I am there as a GM to fill in those blanks.
Yeah.
To kind of go, oh, yeah, and just make it cinematic and just make it kind of go, oh, so I imagine you do this and that. And
I think as well, just to jump in there, that's the important part, is what you just said there. I imagine this is what you would be doing is much better than what I've heard some GMs say, and it always grated me when they say it is, oh, so you do this. Like, no, that's not what I said. And like putting words and actions in your character's mouth, I don't like. But saying, oh, okay, well, I'm imagining something like this, and kind of asking for that confirmation is a much better way of handling that, which you do, and that's why I just wanted to highlight that. Because yeah, I think it's something that I've had people do to me, where they'll tell me what my character's doing, and I'm like, no, no, what? No, fuck off. And that really pisses me off, just personally. So I much prefer the way you do it, which is where you would say, oh, so I imagine it would be something like this. And you give me that opportunity to go, well, no, actually, maybe more along the lines of this, and get that clarification between the two of us so that we're on the same page, is a much better way of handling that as well, I think.
You've got to remember that GMing and even playing these games as a whole, all right? Yes, there are dice rolls involved, and yes, there are mechanics, but the most important aspect of it is the conversation.
Yeah.
It's a conversation between the GM and the player.
Mm-hmm.
And with that conversation, you create something. Some players need less input.
Yeah.
Some players need less sort of GM intervention, whereas other players need a bit more. And to kind of speak personally to sci-fi, sometimes players do not give themselves enough credit.
Mm-hmm.
Players will turn around and say, oh, well, my role-playing isn't very good, when at the same time, as the person who's sat on the opposite side of the table, I'm sat there listening to what's been said to me with a smile on my face, kind of going, yeah, I'm buying this. I like it. So I think it is good to kind of have that query of what if, but at the same time, have a bit more faith in yourself, have a bit more faith in your abilities. Because even narrating what a character says, as opposed to embodying a character, it's still roleplay.
Absolutely.
It's still just as valid, just as good, just as fun, and can create just as good a story.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think as well, it's something that I've been realizing myself in recent months, is that, like you just said, it's not all about doing the professional voice actor thing of becoming that character when you speak as that character. There are many other ways to achieve that immersion, in air quotes. I can't really think of a better word.
No, you're right. Immersion worked.
Because, it's if every other player at the table can get the idea of what you're trying to achieve, then you've achieved it, right? If you just, like you said, if you just describe what the character was doing, oh, well, they would do something along the lines of this or that, or the next thing, and everybody at that table is sitting there going like, and pictures their own image of what that looks like. You've done it, right? You've successfully role played that scene. You haven't said word for word like a script, and it's laid out with notes from the director and shit all over them. You haven't done that, but you don't have to do that to convey that message across to somebody, and I think that's important for people to remember.
For me, to kind of borrow your word, the better way to kind of create immersion in a character has nothing to do with what voice you do.
No.
It has nothing to do with how you speak. It has nothing to do it's
the little character quirks.
It's the quirks. It's the personality.
Yeah.
And like a prime example is in the Fabula game, Edgar.
Edgar.
I picked a quirk.
Yeah, you did, and it was great.
I picked but I didn't. I think I put on a voice for about 30 minutes of the game and then went, I can't be fucked keeping this up.
And none of us gave a shit that you weren't doing the voice anymore.
But I was consistent with his personality quirk. Yeah. I was consistent with the whole, this needs to be signed for, this needs to be documented, we need to fill out an accident report.
That's the thing as well, that for me, is what makes a character, right? It is those little quirks that people have. Because if you take like where we live, right, Essex, the amount of people in Essex that sound the same, like if you were to just hear them, they sound the fucking same. But what makes them...
They sound literally the same.
Literally, they sound the same, okay? But what makes them all different is those individual little quirks that they have once you get to know them. And that's the important part for actually having a character that's unique and interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely. So,
my 2 cents.
No, I completely agree. And, it is a good question. And I think the takeaway I want to kind of underline is have a bit more faith in your own abilities.
Absolutely.
Well, I do believe that's about all we've got time for today.
I think so.
But, I want to say a massive thank you to both Sci-Fi and Couch for sending in some wonderful questions.
Great questions as always, guys.
I want to say thank you to you for spending some time with me tonight, Justin.
Oh, shucks. Thank you for listening to me rant about stuff for an hour and a bit.
Talking about poo.
Ranting about poo, let's be honest.
Ranting about poo. Do you want to tell people... I
think we've got an episode title.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God.
Do you want to tell people where they can find you?
Not particularly after today. But no, you guys can find me online at Justin Accurate TV. I tend to go live over on Twitch playing video games and stuff as well. And, of course, on our Facebook group.
As for me, you can find me at Natural Juan on Mastodon. Like Justin said, we have a Facebook group. We also have a presence on Twitter, on Threads, on Blue Sky.
Yeah, he's going ham on the socials.
I'm going ham on the socials. I haven't done X yet. If anyone's going to create an X account for Too Legit to create, I'm going to leave it up to Justin.
Yeah,
I cannot be fucked with that platform.
I haven't used it since long before Elon Musk even spoke about buying it.
Threads is where I'm enjoying the most, to be honest. Threads, I say we, it's me that's doing it, but I have created a community, not created, that's the wrong word. I have found, or I have, discovered a whole community of tabletop role-playing game creators and podcasters, and, my feed is fucking glorious on there. To the point where I'm actually thinking about just taking the podcast name off it and just having it as my personal space, because it's fucking great. But I won't do that. It'll still be on there as Too Legit to Crit. Also, if you like what you hear, and I know I get repetitive with this, but we need likes, we need interaction, we need people to give us ratings on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify Podcasts, because that is going to help the algorithm and help us grow so we can reach more people and build this community that we are loving so much. And lastly, I just want to say thank you to every single person that's taking time out of their busy days to listen to two absolute idiots waffle on about tabletop role-playing games. Thank you very much. Good night.